is the EXP from Night Troupe even that good? In this video, I'm going to go over why I think that week 2 Night Troupe will be worth your time compared to week 1 of Night Troupe if you felt that the EXP wasn't that great during week 1. I think starting in week 2, the EXP from Night Troupe is going to get significantly better because first of all, there's a perk that we unlock starting today that grants us double Monster Park EXP, and running Monster Park on the base EXP kind of feels bad nowadays because we're kind of always on event stats that are making Monster Park way better EXP. So I think just in terms of a daily story player's perspective, I think starting in week 2 of Night Troupe, it's actually way more worth it to start playing and at least do your Monster Park dailies every day, because getting double value from Monster Park is actually really good. Sometimes I'm lazy when it comes to running Monster Park as well, but when I know I'm getting double Monster Park EXP, I'm definitely more incentivized to go run dailies on my mules, because usually I go run 7 Monster Park runs and then I go do my arcane dailies as well. So yeah, definitely starting in week 2 of Night Troupe, if you are a daily story gamer, or even if you aren't a daily story gamer and just do your dailies every day, I think the value of your dailies has just became significantly stronger than week 1 because of the double Monster Park EXP. And the other perk that the double Monster Park EXP actually gives you this time around, which to my knowledge, this is actually the first time that Monster Park Extreme has gotten any sort of buffs from an event since Monster Park Extreme became a weekly, and that is that the effect actually doubles your Monster Park Extreme EXP as well. And I think this is actually really good. And now basically, since we get 2 Monster Park Extreme runs per week, now we essentially get the same amount of EXP as 4 runs per week, and each Monster Park run compared to before it became a weekly, every 1 run is 5 runs from before when it became a weekly. So now basically you can run it twice in 1 day, and it's the equivalent of running it 20 times before it became a weekly. That's just to put it into perspective on exactly how much EXP we're getting now during this Night Troupe compared to previous events. And another source of EXP that they're giving us starting in week 2 is the Night Troupe Punch King event. And if you thought the double Monster Park Extreme EXP was good, well, they are throwing even more weekly EXP at us starting in week 2. And you also get up to 1,000 of the Troupe coins for running the Punch King every week as well. So if you're a daily story or weekly story player, you won't have to miss out on any of the XP, and you're to get way more juiced on XP starting in week 2. And you don't have to stress out about the Troupe coins because you get a lot of the Night Troupe coins from Punch King as well. So overall, for daily and weekly players, it's just amazing this time around. And I think it's quite underrated actually, because people are comparing this Night Troupe to previous Night Troupe events. And usually in past Night Troupes, week 1 of those events have always been not that great. And I've seen a lot of people complaining about the week 1 EXP of this Night Troupe, but I don't think they even remember what it was like on the previous Night Troupes because it was the exact same way. And I think starting in week 2 of this Night Troupe, it's actually one of the best Night Troupes that we've ever had. Another thing that makes this Night Troupe so good is that you can choose between EXP and fragments this time around. So if you don't have up to an hour to grind every day, you can just choose the fragments and then go do your 5 fragment procs, and then you can get a bunch of fragments pretty quickly. But if you do choose the EXP procs instead of the frag procs, especially starting in week 2, the EXP per proc and the buff that you get actually ramps up every week, and it's gonna get kind of crazy as we get into week 2 and week 3 of Night Troupe, because this is actually the first time around that we can actually use the Hexa boosters on the procs that we get. And because the procs and the EXP buff from the procs get higher and higher every week, it makes popping the Hexa boosters while on that buff even more strong. And as well as the buff that we get from the procs, starting in week 2, we get the bonus 100% EXP on runes for the entire rest of Night Troupe. And we didn't have access to this in week 1. And this is a very big deal because it's one of the staple perks of a Night Troupe, which is why week 1 didn't feel that great. And this bonus 100% EXP on the runes is typically reserved for certain sunny Sundays every now and then. And because we have permanent access to it for the rest of Night Troupe the next 3 weeks, starting now in week 2, it's going to feel way better to train and stack EXP sources together, like the procs and like these juiced up runes. And right now we're actually on 400% EXP per proc, and last week was 350% per proc, and it's going to go all the way up to 550% once we get to the final designer rank in Night Troupe. So the EXP stacking is just going to get even crazier and crazier. And some other things that people are overlooking that you can also stack right now is the lantern buff that you can get once per day that gives an additional 15% EXP, and it lasts for 1 whole hour, which is enough to get through all of your procs in 1 day. And as well as that, we're going to get access to the base EXP skills, which last week in week 1 we had access to the plus 5% EXP, and this week we have access to plus 10% 2%, so an extra 5%. And by the end of upgrading that skill, we'll be up to plus 25% EXP. So that's actually really good as well. And in addition to all of those EXP perks that all stack together, we also get up to 100% bonus EXP from the mysterious decoction event. And when you get a high roll on the bonus EXP, it actually stays for a whole week when you roll it, and it does expire after a week. But a tip for the method that I'm using to try and keep as high of an EXP buff as possible from this event is to first roll without the blue magical medicine, without the juice stats, because you get tons of the base medicine ingredients, and you're going to want to try to get 50% EXP, which is the max without the special blue medicines. And after you roll the 50%, as you train, you'll get the red boxes that drop from mobs, and you can get these special blue medicines from them. And then what you can do is to keep rolling those as you get them for as high as possible, as close to 100% EXP as you can get. And then when you get something very high like I did, I managed to roll 97% EXP on mine. What you can do is settle on it and then keep all the blue magical medicines you get for an entire week, because the buff lasts for a whole week, and then you can start spending these special medicines after it expires, so you get the highest chance at replacing the XP buff after your last one expires, and you don't waste the magical medicines rolling over a set of event stats that's extremely difficult or impossible to replace. So to briefly go over all the things that are stacking together now, and a bunch of these are brand new to week 2 and will continue through all of Night Troupe, and some of these will get even better and crazier through week 3 and 4. So we get the 20 EXP procs from choosing the EXP ticket every week for 400% bonus EXP for each proc, and it's going all the way up to 550% by the end of Night Troupe. And we get the base EXP skill upgrade, which is now 10% additional EXP, and it's going all the way up to 25% bonus EXP by the end of the event. We get the 15% EXP for 1 hour a day from the lantern event that you get from the event map. We get the additional 100% rune EXP, going from 2x rune EXP to now 3x rune EXP for the rest of all of Night Troupe. We get another full 100% more EXP from the mysterious decoction event. So week 2 is definitely way better than week 1, and it's the biggest jump in EXP that we'll see week to week because of the rune EXP buff. So when you're training, you're going to want to stack all of these sources that I just listed, and then when an EXP proc happens for the currently 400% extra EXP, and when you're on the newly juiced up rune EXP, you're going to want to pop hexa boosters or VIP boosters if you have any, and your XP is going to go crazy, whereas it wasn't nearly as great last week. And when I have all these EXP sources stacking right now, I'm at 1200% bonus EXP in my stat sheet, and I pop boosters while on 1200% bonus EXP, and it's making me actually feel like 295 is possible for me now, and somehow it's not an eternity away anymore. At least it's making me feel like that. But yeah, all of the new EXP sources and all of this EXP stacking going on, as well as the double monster park EXP and the new Punch King EXP, is now kind of going crazy starting in week 2. And it wasn't just you if you felt like week 1 was kind of mid, but I can assure you that Night Troupe is getting really good now starting in week 2, and I would definitely recommend training now, especially if you weren't last week. So yeah, I just wanted to address some of those concerns and some of the comments that I've been seeing in the community saying that Night Troupe isn't that great now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would appreciate a sub if you want to see more MapleStory videos. We are getting close to 1k subs, so I appreciate all of you for showing love on all the videos recently. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.